So let's get started, and wanted to point out, a lot of this feedback on the first deliverable doesn't even apply to you. But you'll see this slide. I'm not even going to mention it because you did a great job. You avoided large infrastructure projects. Remember, you're not the government. You're not a huge corporation. You're a startup. You didn't. Nobody did something where it's we're gonna raise funds or something. We really want you to have a product. Avoid buy one get one. The only thing I'll say is, remember, your deliverable is going to be viewed by an investor who doesn't have time to talk to you. Okay, who doesn't have time to talk to you, and so basically it needs to. You folks good? And it needs to speak for itself. Okay, you got what you wanted? Excellent. So you're going to prepare this for an investor who doesn't have time to talk to you. So your slides have to speak for themselves. So that means they have to have the what, distinctly, mission, let's say, and the why. So just work on that. That's one thing. But I have to say, your ability to follow along was great. There are 6 parts to Deliverable 2, and your instructors will take you through that. So what we're going to do now is I am going to ask you to just go through and see some images on the screen, and as you do that, maybe about halfway, you can write down on the sheet of paper any thoughts you have. Okay, any thoughts you have, and these are images that apply across all of our umbrella topics. They're all mixed up. You'll see education, you'll see health. The only thing I'll say is focus on the surroundings rather than the solutions. That's bottom up. Focus on the reality rather than the solutions. And I'm just going to let it run. Just look at it, jot down some thoughts if it's on a sheet of paper. About halfway in, I'm going to tell you to write, if you have an idea for a good or a service, write that down on the Post-it note. I'm going to do a couple of exercises like this, and at the end of that, I'm going to ask you to take your Post-it notes, go to your sheets, the large sheets, put that over there. Everybody listens to all the ideas, and then you pick one or a combination merely as an exercise, and you draw it out. You don't write it out, you draw it out. Okay? And I'll give you a little bit more specific guidance in a moment. That's our goal. So what do you need to do in the next couple of exercises? Come up with a unique good or a service that addresses the need that you have for your customer and in your project. Okay? So first thing we're going to do, let it just play. Just stimulation, quiet time. About halfway in, I'll nudge you about the product idea. Until then, just jot down your thoughts. Okay? But I want everybody to listen to all the ideas today. Just images, and they cover all 3 topics. Just any thoughts that come to mind, okay? Any observations, they have a lot of value. Intuitions. As you watch it, see if any idea for a good or service comes to mind. If it does, put that down on the post-it note, one of the post-it notes. I'll let it run, but see if you can think actively of an idea, okay? One idea that you can take to your group for a good or a service. Not how to deliver, how to communicate, but the product itself. I'll give you another minute before we go to the next exercise, okay? Okay. Another 30 seconds, and then we'll go to the next exercise. See if you can write down one idea for a product, good or a service. Okay, you have seen this before. You drew this out for yourself, for your customer, articulating the central need. I'm just putting it up again. Maybe you have that sheet of paper. Maybe you want to reconstruct. Think about your customer. Think about the central way to describe the need. I need to feed my family or whatever, and see if you can draw out the branches or pick up the branches you already, the drawing you already have. And I believe when you do this kind of a bottom-up need deconstruction, it then leads you to say, okay, if I have to do this and do this, maybe here's an idea for a product. This is something we've developed to this bottom-up approach, right? So please see if you can, either if you need to, you draw it out again. Otherwise, just look at what you've already drawn. But at the end of it, think about it for your own product, for your need, and add a second idea for a solution, a product, onto the second post-it note. I'll give you a couple of minutes of silence. Very good. So now what are we going to do? The thing I want to point out to you is that we have a lot of resources in this class. These are all produced for you, right? So we have, we have different topics on which we have image generation, idea generation, water, etc. in our playlist. We have recorded interviews. Right? As a prelude, we have recorded interviews in Honduras, Uganda, US, Tanzania, and so on these different topics. If you want, you can take a look. And in addition, we are very familiar with all the different methods. We use quite a bit of them. We use Midjourney for image generation, etc. Andrea is doing some very interesting work on AI for good. And you'll learn a lot from her as well. We'll all learn from her. So, but again, I just want you to keep in mind, stay true to the bottom up. Don't look for answers from any technology. You have to overlay your answers. You see the big picture, right? So learn to use that technology. That's fine. But right now, let it be bottom up. Let it create images. And I'll be very honest with you. As we have been producing these images, the image and video stuff will catch up without a doubt. That's the way technology is a tidal wave. The text is excellent. But we find we use our images in our social enterprise as well. We generate images of what it means to be a plumber or something like that. They're very average. The images are an average, as in they're an average of a lot of things. So to be honest, right now, I prefer the real images. But again, this is all technology. Learn to work with it. And if you learn to work with it well, you learn to add your own value over and above that. We better do that. We better do that, right? And again, we'll talk more to you in a smaller class on that. So what are you going to do now? You are basically going to take your two ideas, and you are going to go to the wall, and let me just tell you exactly what we want you to do. We want you to go to the wall, and we want you to listen to all the ideas, discuss as a group, pick one or a combination of ideas and draw it out, remembering that's not your ultimate product. It's merely an exercise, okay? Secondly, if you have a service, you can draw out the steps. Here's an app. The farmer looks at it. This is the first page of the app. The farmer chooses a pesticide, and then calls you. And then you basically come. You take a look. You survey the field. That's step 2. And then you say this is the right time to do this, this, and this. Then you come back. You apply the pesticide. Then you come back. You can, for a service, it's like a process. You can lay out the steps. If you have a nutritional product or a pesticide or something and you want to show it, we're not going to suddenly become nutritional scientists. So you can certainly speak about what's in the product, in what form, but you can do the packaging. What does the package look like? The icons. Every time you use a word, you better have an icon for low literate users, right? And then you can similarly, so you can do packages, you can do interfaces. For educational programs, for apps, you can show the first page, the second page, again, exactly the way the low literate user would do it. And then there is a reason why we're asking you to draw this out. Because when you draw it out, it's like role playing. It forces you to lay out the steps. So you could have a few words, but please draw it out. Ready? Any questions? All right. Go to your Post-it notes, have fun. All right, enjoy.